Hello and welcome to the House of Wellness. I'm Luke Darcy and it's always a great thing to be standing alongside the one and only Joe Stanley. Welcome to you, Joe, in what is a bit of a streamlined version of the House of Wellness today.
It's a joy to see you, Darcy, as always. And yes, we're without our sidekicks today, but that's OK. We continue on.
Well, it's just temporary, Joe. Dr. Nick Carr and Jacqui Felgate will be back with us shortly. But I wanted to start by talking to you about Dry July and the tens of thousands of Australians are now choosing to go without alcohol for the month of July.
That's right. It is the national fundraiser for people affected by cancer. But even if you're not taking part, it's not a bad opportunity to really kind of think about your relationship with alcohol.
Yeah, the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare tell us that more and more people are calling in wanting support with alcohol abuse and challenges, particularly in the age bracket, Joe, of 30 to 49-year-olds.
Yeah, we know that drinking did go up during the pandemic and it does seem that some people are still feeling the effects of that. But I want to say that it takes a lot of courage to put your hand up and say, I need help. So there should be no shame attached to that.
Yeah, well said, Joe. And we're hearing reports that Victoria is the state most affected by alcohol issues. And it's probably not surprising when you think Victoria holds the unenviable title as one of the most locked down cities in the world, Joe. And I think it's important we actually discuss these things openly so you can go and find help.
Absolutely. And one of the calls is that we limit or ban express delivery of alcohol. So, you know, they're talking about perhaps having a window, a cooling off period between ordering and delivery, which I think is a really great idea. I mean, before the pandemic, who would have even thought of delivery of alcohol?
Well, that technology didn't exist, did it? Yeah. Now it's literally on an app and you can have it on call any time. So it's probably good we're thinking about that. And as we know, break from alcohol is good for you mentally, physically, and I think, Joe, it's probably good for your soul as well.
Which actually is our focus today, spirituality and the soul. And what better way to start than by joining Hines on a trip inside Australia's biggest wellness expo. It's the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival.
Karim, lovely to meet you.
Thank you, you too.
Tell me, what is an aura photo?
An aura photo displays your energy. The way it works is you put your hands on sensors, it's measuring what you're giving out. The different vibrations are translated into different colours electronically. Put your right hand there, please.
And so begins my venture into the world of mind, body, and in this case, spirit. Delving into my spiritual energy, which is captured in a photo and revealed through colours.
You got really strong positive energy. Your aura photo is split into three main areas.
It's not just about the colours, but where they're placed in the photo.
So the colours above you show your current experiences. Green's the colour of healing and balance and harmony. You've got an active but unusual sense of humour as well, because it's mixed with orange, which is creativity and originality, so you like to take your own path in your life.
Well, Karim, you got that right. And yep, I'm a pretty energetic person, but I can always do with an extra hit, which has led me to the Suki bed.
Massaging your sacrum to open up your whole spinal column to bring the oxygen through.
The theory is that the figure 8 massage based on the Chinese movement of Qi will put an extra spring in my step.
It's just like you're walking in the air. It feels like nothing to worry about because it is body, mind and spirit.
I've never experienced that sensation before, but it has given me a bit of a boost. Not that there's any lack of energy here. From invigorating the body and activating the mind to connecting with your spiritual side, which is where Angel comes in.
My name's Angel Trishel. I'm an international psychic medium.
Angel is a 13th generation psychic and one of many mediums ready to share their mystical talents.
Health.
Oh, you got to watch your mind.
From mind to all kinds of massages.
Marcus, as you were doing that, I could feel it almost pop. What did you do?
Just release your muscle.
Took all the pain away.
To treatments for mind and body.
This makes pain just disappear.
Crystals.
These are beautiful.
Insights, lotions and potions. It's all here. You can even get a witch to cast you a spell.
So this is where the magic happens?
Literally.
Literally.
So you are going to make me the success, is it?
Yep, success spell.
And success is Morrigan, and that's
It
about
is the
bringing
Morrigan.
abundance into our life.
It is correct. So we'll start off with getting you to write an intention for your spell. If you could just fold that up for me as small as you could, or as so long as it can fit into our spell. So just breathe deep and let that charge come down through me, through you, and into your spell. And your spell is charged. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
They're sun catchers, so you put them outside on your deck or balcony or inside where the sun floods in, and they create really beautiful flecks of light in the space, very mesmerising.
This is energy boost.
I love energy.
Yeah, green tea, ginseng, lemongrass and lemon balm. It's clean energy.
How often should I be having this?
2 to 3 cups daily for a therapeutic dose. It's fabulous, yeah, and it's all organic.
Does it mean I don't have to have coffee anymore?
You don't have to.
Good clean energy. Apparently I can have this instead of coffee. Let's see. Yeah, I could do that.
So what I'm doing today is a combination of kinesiology and Reiki in your solar plexus. Have you been giving a lot of energy lately and you're feeling a little bit drained and doing too much?
Yeah.
Seems all the taste testing, spiritual healing, and casting spells has dented my energy levels.
Now clear your full energy. Just chucking it to the fire, clearing it. Beautiful. Now tell me, how does it feel? You've just been sharoned.
Yeah. I feel like I've got more energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel clearer. And a lot of the things you said really, really hit the nail on the head.
Sharon weaved her magic and my energy is back. But not everyone here is looking for a high-octane experience. Lou Van Stone is a sound healer. Her music and ethereal voice is designed to quieten the mind. It's hypnotic and has this audience completely transfixed.
I'd like you to just put your intentions into the coffee cup. And by doing that, you're basically getting your energy into the coffee, into the cup. It can be a little bit revealing.
Go for it. I'm an open book.
All right, we'll give this 2 seconds to set, and then we'll be ready to do the reading.
Okay.
Oops, energy levels dropping again. Let's see what the coffee granules say.
For now to the next 3 months, I see that you've got a little bit of chaos, but it's kind of organized chaos. You're really good at structuring your life, but you can get a little bit frustrated when it comes to other people telling you what to do. There's a 5, 5, 8. They could be representative of dates or times or numbers. And I see a lot of initials around here, R. R has come through twice. Do you have anyone connected to the letter R?
I'll have
it might be in business or in family, but it's the letter R, and also there's a T underneath that one. So it could be an R and a T connected or separately.
So 5, 5, 3 and R and T. R
and
was over
3,
T.
everything in threes. So everything
in
happening in threes.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Hero.
very, very good. I want you to make a wish, because you get a wish with this cup.
Okay.
So put your finger right in the bottom of the cup.
Touch it.
Touch it or twist your finger gently. Make a wish. We'll read the bottom.
So here's the thing. If the wish comes true, I'll tell you about it next time. For now, though, I'm simply grateful that everything that was revealed to me today about my mind, body, and spirit was pretty good.
So today, I've had a witch cast a spell for my future success. I've had my body rocking and rolling with the electronic Qigong machine, and I've also had my energy cleared and unlocked, so I think that's probably my time to go.
Joe, the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival comes to Sydney and Melbourne this October. Did you know that that is now one of the biggest conventions in Australia? It has become massive. Now, I wanted to ask you, where do you sit on the science versus spirituality side of the ledger?
Oh, look, I love science, but I am very much about spirit. I'm not really into crystals, but I'm pretty woo-woo. I mean, you and I, we're very much into meditation, but I think we approach it from different angles. For me, it's about connecting with my soul and my true essence.
Yeah.
That's why I meditate every day.
Joe, I feel like we've lost the art of what good science actually means, and the fight to try and find truly independent research going forward is going to be something to watch. And I'm a big believer in karma, Joe, and that idea that if you have a positive impact every day, that's how I view spirituality. Do my best anyway, Joe.
Oh, you're doing okay. Well, up next, we find out why it's a good idea to sleep in this winter. I mean, do we need a reason?
Plus the Aussie trial that is using a sense of smell to help fight dementia. Back right after this. Joe, I am definitely getting softer as the years go by. I used to love the early morning starts, but I'm finding these cold winter mornings a lot harder to get out of bed than it used to be.
Well, if you don't have to, Das, don't. And that's not just me saying it. Science says so.
Nice when a bit of research backs up what you want to happen. And there is a study suggesting that those that sleep in longer and later actually awake more refreshed and alert than those that don't. I'm not sure about that, Joe. I always find when I sleep in longer, I wake up and feel a bit sluggish.
Oh, no, I love my snooze button. I love it. I hit it at least 3 or 4 times. But the great news is actually also, as school holidays take place all around the country, for parents of teens, we should let our teens sleep as well.
You're going to love this one, Joe. A US high school in Pennsylvania has pushed back the start time of school to 9:45 a.m. and they are reporting a real overall benefit in the mental health and well-being of their students with that later start and opportunity to sleep more.
I would love to see that trialled here because we know that teenagers, firstly, they need 8 to 10 hours sleep a night, but as you go through puberty, your circadian rhythm changes and they don't get sleepy till about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Makes perfect sense for a later school start.
Joe, any parent of a teen will concur 100% with exactly what you just said. And we know that getting enough sleep helps with the ageing process and even can help ward off dementia. Up next, an Aussie trial that is helping to uncover the link between smell and memory.
The sense of smell is quite unique because it talks very directly to the parts of the brain that are responsible for processing memory and emotions, even more so than other senses like our, vision and hearing. We know that from everyday experience how strong smells are triggers for kind of memories that can go as far back as our childhood. The sense of smell is actually very important in many subtle ways to our functioning, and it's got importance around areas like food or avoiding things related to food. It's got very critical roles in kind of social and emotional behavior, even around sort of partner selection and things like that. It's got importance around hazard or danger signaling, things that may elicit disgust or fear. Mind Your Nose study is a study we started not too long ago in collaboration with researchers from South Australia and also from Sweden. We're interested in finding out whether training people's memory through the sense of smell helps people get better not only in their ability to remember smells, but also in their memory more broadly. And this is related to a bigger issue that we're very interested in, and that is the prevention of dementia, or at least reducing the risk of dementia, because what we know is that dementia obviously is one of the biggest challenges of our times. And I've done some studies, as well as others, that shown that years before people develop dementia, their sense of smell is already reduced. And in fact, if you look at people with Alzheimer's disease, probably about 90% of them or more have loss of their sense of smell, either complete or significant. So I had people with dementia smelling gas, and I made sure that in the options they could choose from, there was a gas, but there was also smoke, leather, and strawberry. Most healthy people wouldn't smell gas and go, this is strawberry, right? People with dementia were just as likely to say strawberry as they were to say the other options. If a person loses their sense of smell and they're unable to identify and recognize smells that should signal danger, like smoke or gas or food that's gone off, they are potentially at higher risk of something happening to them because of that. And it has important implications for people with dementia who live still by themselves, but they may not be able to identify risks based on their smell. What we're hoping to find is that the sense of smell is that window that allows us to train memory in such a way that is more likely to lead to improvements across other situations that involve memory, not just training our sense of smell. We want to use the sense of smell, we want to get better at remembering smells, but the real goal is to become better at memory in general.
Oh, Das, it's so true that memory and smell are absolutely interconnected. Whenever I smell jasmine, I am taken straight back to my childhood home because we had this beautiful jasmine bush on our fence. It's a lovely memory.
It is amazing, Joe, isn't it? I live with my legendary grandma, Nana Das, and there's certain smells in the kitchen that remind me of that couple-of-year period where I got to live with her, which is a great memory.
Well, do you know, scientists out of the University of Oxford have named the world's best smell as being vanilla which I agree. Oh, love the smell of vanilla. And sweaty feet as the world's worst smell. And they have researched people from cultures all around the world to come up with that result. What do you think?
Well, vanilla is great. I'm with you. And you're probably right. Bad foot odour is almost as bad as it gets. Makes you just feel a bit hair on the back of your neck stand up. There's a study in the US, 7 out of 10 people are so concerned about the way their house smells, Joe, it affects them actually wanting to invite people over.
Oh, that does make me sad, but I do sometimes worry that I can't smell the dog smell in our house and people will walk in and go, oh, my God, why's she a Labrador? I worry about that. But here are some home remedies, of course. You put your bicarb soda in the fridge to suck up bad food odours and a little bowl of vinegar anywhere that it might be a little bit smelly. There you go, Darcy.
Very helpful from you, Joe, as always. Thanks for sharing that. Well, from bad smells to bad joints, here are the doctor's car to give us the lowdown on arthritis.
Hi and welcome to Medicine Past, Present and Future. My name's Dr. Nick and I'm the past.
And my name's Dr. Isabelle and I'm the future.
And together we're the present.
Now, Dr. Nick, what's something that you used to get in trouble for as a kid that you now realise is totally harmless?
Well, quite a few to choose from. But the thing that really used to drive my mum mad was when I used to crack the knuckles on my hand. Because my mum had quite bad osteoarthritis in her hands, and she used to say to me, if you crack your knuckles, it'll give you gnarly old hands like mine.
But it's not true, is it, Dr. Nick? It might give some people the heebie-jeebies to crack their knuckles, but research has shown it doesn't actually cause arthritis.
You're right, because there was a Californian researcher who decided to crack the knuckles on one hand every day for 60 years while leaving the other hand alone. And at the end of 60 years, he took x-rays of both.
And?
There was no difference. So cracking your knuckles is fine. It's not going to give you arthritis. But Dr. Isabelle, there are loads of different kinds of arthritis, aren't there?
Yeah, that's right. 26 different types according to Arthritis Australia, although the more common ones are osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis.
OK, so let's focus on those two. And they're not exactly new. I mean, there are Egyptian mummies which have been shown to have rheumatoid arthritis. So let's talk about that one. What exactly is rheumatoid?
So rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, and what that means is that your immune cells get sent mixed messages and they go and attack your healthy cells by mistake. So it is often characterised by multiple joints and feeling worse in the morning.
Yeah, so if your joints are really stiff and sore in the morning, particularly the knuckle joints here, and then tends to ease up as the day goes on, that could be rheumatoid. But what about osteo?
So osteoarthritis is what's known as a degenerative bone disease. And what that means is that long-term use and wear and tear on the bones causes the degrading of the substance between them, the cartilage. Now, it's more common in women, older age groups, people with obesity and people with a family history of osteoarthritis. So what can be done about it, Dr. Nick?
Well, there's no particular cure, so prevention is really important. And the most important things for prevention are keeping weight under control and keeping the joints mobile, exercise. When it comes to treatment, it's mainly physical therapies, pain relief, and when things are really bad, joint replacement.
So let's talk about treatment for rheumatoid arthritis. Now, when I was at medical school, they told us that in the old days, they used to use gold. Now, what is all of that about?
It sounds really weird, doesn't it? But gold actually was a treatment for arthritis. Back in the 20s, they found that gold had anti-inflammatory properties. And otherwise, the only thing they had was aspirin. So gold was actually quite effective for some people with rheumatoid, but it had lots of side effects, and gold injections were really painful.
Now, luckily, we have much more sophisticated treatments these days. I would even go so far as to call them the gold standard.
Oh, come on.
Make you feel as good as gold.
Aren't I supposed to do the dad jokes?
It's a gold class experience.
That is quite enough. Thank you, Dr. Isabelle.
Thank you, Dr. Nick.
Always informative when you catch up with the doctor's car, Joe. And as they said, keeping moving, one of the best ways you can look after your joints. And it doesn't matter what form of exercise, just get moving, definitely helps.
Does that include planting trees? Like, I mean, lots of trees? Because 24-year-old Canadian Antoine Moses has just planted 23,000 trees in 24 hours. I don't know if I believe it. How could that be possible?
Well, I didn't quite know where you were going with this, Joe, but I have seen his work. He is remarkable. It took him 4 or 5 years of training and planning to build up to the point where he can do that 23,000 trees in a 24-hour cycle. But what a brilliant thing. To me, that seems like the obvious thing for the planet, isn't it? We should be planting as many trees as we possibly can. If you do it at that rate, we're going to have the whole globe covered in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, I'd like to take a little longer. Just, I don't know, have a little rest in between every 1,000 or so. How about that? Coming up, Hinesy goes backstage with the stars of the hit musical and Juliet.
Plus, Joe, could we be walking our dogs all wrong?
I've no doubt I am. I'm certain I am.
Podiatrist Dr. Helen Banwell has treated just about every type of foot injury you can think of. But in recent years, one common cause of walking accidents has piqued her curiosity.
So as part of my work, I was working with children with disability, and what we were finding is that they were being prescribed assistant dogs far more often than what they had been in the past, and that's a fabulous thing. But we had noted that some children were presenting with injuries to their face or their body, and parents were reporting that they had fallen or tripped while walking their dog. So when we looked at the limited research that had been done in this area, we found a study in America that found that for all of the human and animal interactions that had resulted in somebody being hospitalised, nearly a quarter of the time it was because somebody fell over while walking their dog. So that raised the question for us that if we are going to see a lot more dogs being used as assistant dogs, we really needed to understand what happens to us as we walk our dog on a lead.
Using 19 adult walkers and 15 lucky pups, Helen and her colleagues at the University of South Australia measured how we walk alone compared to how we walk with a dog.
That measurement was conducted with a PEDAR insole system. So this is a wireless system that goes inside your shoes and measures the pressure as you are walking along, and that relays back to a computer, and we can capture the changes in the pressure sensation going through your feet as you walk. You know, they always say don't work with children or animals, and but I have to say the animals were incredibly well behaved on this one, and it hasn't altered my thought process that I'd much rather work with a dog than a human most days, I've got to be honest.
As Helen had predicted, the study found that our bodies tend to lean back when being pulled along by a dog, but there was one finding that surprised her.
What we hadn't thought of was that we move our pressure back, or we lean back when we're walking a dog, regardless of that dog's behaviour. So what we were specifically looking for was, does our gait change when we have a dog that pulls on lead versus a dog that walks alongside us at a standard heel position? It turned out it didn't matter where the dog walked. We instinctively leant back in a brace position in readiness for that dog to potentially pull us further forward. What that means for us is that we've intentionally altered our centre of gravity, and so the consequences are that we are probably more likely to trip because we are not where we would normally be in sense of pressure and centre of gravity. So this goes a little bit to explaining why people do tend to trip over more when they are walking their dog. So from our perspective, what we need to do is talk to people when we're prescribing dogs, and talk to normal dog walkers walking kilometres and kilometres every day about just being conscious of what their posture is doing to try and minimise their risk of falling.
Podiatrist Helen Banwell there with some pointers on how we should be walking our dogs, not the other way around, which does bring me to some awesome footage that I have found of each of us walking our dogs. Now, there's you with lovely Dennis, very well behaved on the lead.
Can I give an update on Dennis? He's regressing. He's going worse than he's ever gone. I think he needs some remedial action, Dennis, to get his attitude back on track. How about Daisy? Was a bit loose back then.
Well, Daisy, yes, she dragged me along, and she's much better now. You know, Labrador, she's 4.5 now, sweet spot. Oh. She's perfect on the lead, but back then it was quite the challenge, it's true.
I remember that day well. Hey, Joe, were you aware that July is National De-Sexing Month?
I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about animals.
Yes. Well, I was, and it's all in aid of a lot of litters that end up in animal shelters around the country. So a lot of vets around Australia have combined to offer low-cost desexing procedures all this month. And if you want to find out more, head online to the National Desexing Network and to see if that is a good time to get involved.
Well, while we are getting some tips on how to care for and walk our dogs properly, Luke Hines is getting his musical on when he went backstage with the stars of the hit show and Juliet.
Packed full of mind-blowing vocals and relentlessly athletic dance moves, And Juliet is one of the most high-octane musicals to hit Australian theatres.
Just make sure you're keeping nicely up till here.
But the energy on stage is nothing compared to the effort performers like Georgia Kennedy put in behind the scenes.
Lots of cardio. Yeah, a lot of cardio.
That's it. There's usually about 20 on each side for me.
It is a lot of hard work. But to be honest, there's so much cardio in the show. It's 8 times a week that I don't like to do too much of that outside. I really make sure to do sort of restorative exercises and stretching to fuel my body again.
Just really working up through your toes for me, okay?
Like any team of professional athletes, Georgia and her And Juliet co-stars are supported by a group of specialised physiotherapists, led by Performance Medicine's Annie Strouch.
That looks better, and you might end up feeling it through this part. Because the show is 8 shows a week, it's very repetitive, so people get a cumulative load in their body. So our role is to decrease that accumulation and really finesse what they're doing. So we will look at, if someone's always doing something on their right side, we're going to activate the left side more. We're going to make sure their legs are working, but we need to be able to do it in a way they're not going to be too sore so that they can go to work in 2 hours and no one's going to know that they've just done a conditioning class.
And legs out like that, that's it. Good.
So with your role, are you watching rehearsals and you're saying, hang on, they're hoisted up, they're clipped onto a strap, they're in a corset, and they also have to belt as a tenor. How do you work around that when there's so many variables?
You have to be very creative in your thinking and open-minded. And you've got to work out a solution that suits everyone. First and foremost, the performer safety, and we do work with other departments, so the wardrobe department, and navigate a way to find what we need that looks creatively what the show needs, but also is more comfortable for the performer.
Talking about protecting performers, mid-show, sometimes things just happen. Rolled ankles,
yes,
hammies.
Yes.
What do you do?
Often it's a phone call to me, Annie, something's happened, and that's okay. That's why I love the job. Interestingly, in music theatre, it's a bit like footy and you can sub people off. So it's called a swing. So the companies are really amazing. They have dance captains. So if someone's injured and they can't perform, they're able to swing them off and then swing someone else on. And the audience are none the wiser.
Of course, a healthy body is one requirement for starring in a musical.
Do about 20 for me?
Okay. To belt out hit-pop songs every night, Rob Mills has to take care of his voice just as much.
It's really important to, it's like getting a tight hamstring. All these muscles here that we use quite a lot with our jaw and our neck, to keep stretching them out as you would a hamstring if you're an elite runner or, yeah, so stretching, plenty of fluids and, I don't know, try not to get too stressed. Yeah. I think if you're stay in a mindset that's, you know, you're always going to have ups and downs, but if you have a positive mindset, I think that definitely helps as well.
I'm glad you touched on mindset because unlike some other industries, when you sign up to a show, you're committing months, if not years, away from your family state, away from your friendship group, and you are giving up most of your afternoons and nights, and they're such late evenings that most of your mornings are gone too, with rehearsals or physio or whatnot. How do you stay mentally strong when you're in this microcosm of a world?
Mate, when you put it like that, you know what, I quit. This is... is this what I thought? No,
Yeah, sorry, everybody.
I mean, I've been doing this for nearly 15, 20 years in musicals now, and there's something about... I mean, I love telling stories and I love being part of the team of a musical, but you're right, you do sort of lose touch sometimes with those friendship groups when you do live overseas. Sometimes you're living out of a suitcase for many months of the year. It can be difficult, but look, we're so well connected with technology these days. There are ways to connect with your friends via WhatsApp groups or FaceTimes with your partner or friends. There are ways, but you have to make the time.
Yeah, want to have a little breather, shake it out?
Yeah. Always.
The old Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. I've definitely grown, learnt that self-confidence is a great thing to have, but self-worth is more important to have than self-confidence. Your self-confidence will come with self-worth. So learning a bit more about who you are as a person, getting that self-awareness and mental toughness, resilience, all that sort of stuff.
It takes a lot to sort of have that energy and have that energy output. But it is a lot of fun, and it means a lot to us that audiences love what we do, they feed off our energy, and that's why we do it.
Darcy, it makes you realise how stage fit these performers have to be to manage such high energy shows, sometimes for months and months. But this is a fantastic show. It is a what-if version of Romeo and Juliet, where Juliet doesn't die, and it has a huge amount of awesome pop hits.
Spoiler alert there, Joe.
Well, everybody knows that's what the premise is of Anne Juliet.
I hear great things about it. It was a smash hit on the West End and Broadway, and the Melbourne production is on right through until the end of July, so check it out if you haven't yet. Back after this.
So for me, skin health is so important. I think that obviously skin is our largest organ in the body. If I'm looking after and maintaining good skin health, I'm looking after myself holistically and overall. Skincare is no longer just about what goes on the skin. Radiance is made from within. That's why the Swiss Beauty Bright range is scientifically backed to help support healthy, brighter skin, and it is just as simple as 2 steps. Firstly, the Swiss Beauty Bright Skin Booster Supplement is formulated with vitamin C, and vitamin C is a skin-loving ingredient that helps to support collagen formation, skin elasticity and firmness. Plus, it also has nicotinamide, which helps maintain skin health, and it also has antioxidants like cranberry and pomegranate. To further support brighter skin from the outside, we can pair the supplement with the Swiss Skincare Vitamin C 5%, Niacinamide 5% Brightening Day Cream. It's a lightweight moisturiser that targets dark spots, corrects pigmentation, and delivers deep hydration, so you can say goodbye to uneven skin tone. We only get one skin, and we have it for our entire lives, so take the time to look after your skin from the inside out, and it will reward you for life.
Thanks there to actor and former Miss Universe Australia, Francesca Hung. And while we're on skincare, Dars, it is freezing in Australia, no question, particularly where we are in Melbourne. But in Europe, they are enjoying a lovely, sizzling summer.
And what about the story from the Netherlands, Joe? They have found a creative and innovative way to help get through this extreme heat in Europe at the moment. They have repurposed the old hand sanitizer bottles that were going into landfill and converted them to free sunscreen dispensers that are available for free all around the country. It's brilliant.
I love that, and I also love this. In Helsinki, Finland, kids who might be home alone during the summer holidays can head along to their local playground for a free hot meal. It's a community service that's been running for 80 years now, and it's just brilliant.
They are brilliant, those Scandinavian countries. I love the way they think. And when you think of 1 in 2 high-income countries around the world actually offer free lunches at school, and it's pretty tragic when you think in an affluent country like here in Australia, so many kids are turning up without any nutrition or breakfast or any sense of starting their day with a healthy meal. It's a real challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you would like to see it happen in Australia. We do have often breakfast clubs at schools, and I know that they are trialling free lunches in places like in ACT. There have been trials running at primary schools there. So I do love it as an idea, because the sad fact is not all kids go to school with full lunch boxes, and you can't learn if you don't have a full tummy.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough start to the day, isn't it, when you turn up and not have anything in your lunchbox or any food for the day. It's a pretty sad state of affairs.
Well, one thing that food should never be is stressful. So here's Zoe and Hines with some delicious dishes that also soothe the soul.
The people at home may not believe me, Zoe, but I truly think that food can be spiritual. Have you ever had one of those meals that just lights up your body and soul?
Oh, Lukey, I have, and I'm cooking it today. My turmeric spiced chicken with salad and avocado sauce just sends me to heaven.
My heaven? Nuggets. Yeah, no, not the fast food kind. My pumpkin nuggets. They are so healthy, I love making them. I love eating them. I sort of like sharing them. It is the perfect combo, which is a win for me.
Now, I promise I'm not going to get too woo-woo, but for some people out there, food is not just fuel for the stomach.
Exactly. Certain foods can actually calm and centre our energy and benefit our chakra system.
Now, if you don't do yoga, you might not have heard of that term before. Part of an ancient energy system originating in India. Chakras are the energy centres within the physical body.
Visualised as spinning discs along the spine, they need to stay aligned and open, helping us to digest information and become aware of our emotions, ultimately connecting with ourselves.
Now that we know what it is, what foods can help that spiritual side?
Well, whilst there are specific foods for certain chakras, in a nutshell, foods for our chakras are grown by Mother Nature herself. Berries, fruits and vegetables.
Lukey, she really is the best chef out there. And on the flip side, eating unhealthily and foods that cause anxious feelings,
like sugar and processed foods,
and even caffeine, they're said to cause the chakras to be blocked or unbalanced, or just that feeling of feeling off.
Whatever your opinion on chakras, any encouragement to eat real food gets the tick of approval from me.
And what I love about this philosophy too is it incorporates the holistic approach, meditation and movement. I'm just going to be so zen-like once I eat all this gorgeous chakra food. Oh.
If there's any left.
Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia. It affects up to 1 in 10 Australians over the age of 65. While the cause is unknown, a key risk factor is the inevitable ageing process. Alzheimer's disease damages neural connections in the brain due to a build-up of the toxic proteins amyloid and tau, which stop the brain from passing signals properly. This causes memory failure, which leads to the common symptoms of the disease, such as difficulty finding the right words for everyday things or losing the thread of a conversation. Early research showed that nutrients such as omega-3, choline and uridine were important for the formation of brain connections, and that patients with Alzheimer's disease often had lower levels of some of these key nutrients. This led to the development of the medical nutrition drink called Suvinade. A recent study following patients with an early stage of Alzheimer's disease called mild cognitive impairment revealed that Suvinade slowed the progression of memory and cognitive decline by 60% when taken daily for 3 years. Alzheimer's disease can become more common as we age, but it's not a normal part of ageing, and we can take steps to reduce its impact on our lives.
Well, Joe, we know that walking and exercise is a key way to ward off dementia, but so too is staying socially connected.
Yes, and, Dr. Nick is always talking about this, isn't it? About, creating new pathways in the brain and keeping the areas that aren't being used free of weeds. I love that saying. And this is a way of doing all three. It's a new way of catching up. It's a walking catch-up next time that you are meeting with a friend. Walk and talk. It's like the new let's do lunch.
It's brilliant, Joe, isn't it? You get outdoors, you get your exercise in. It's a great way to connect with someone as well. You tend to stay off your mobile phone because you're walking with someone, and the idea of a walking meeting makes a lot of sense to me as well, Joe. I'm all for it.
Yes, and I think that you maybe have a more meaningful connection in your conversation as well, because you're not doing that face-to-face chat, which can be perhaps a little bit confronting. You're side by side, you're getting the blood pumping through your brain and you're kind of being active. You've got all those sort of neurons sparking, and the conversation can sometimes go really nice and deep quite quickly, I reckon.
And the National Heart Foundation, Joe, oversees more than 1,200 walks. There's a brilliant mentor walks group of female leaders getting together to support the next generation of female champions as well, which is brilliant. So get involved in a walking group.
And I love this. The National Heart Foundation can also connect you with a like-minded companion if you need someone to walk with. That's absolutely beautiful, because anything that connects us and de-stresses at the same time is worth a go.
Stress is an unavoidable part of life. The symptoms of strain and tension caused by everyday stress can impact daily activities by making it difficult to focus. We're here in the Herb Garden at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Sydney, where you can come and see amazing plants from all over the world, like ashwagandha, which is native to India and has some very special qualities. The herbal blend of ashwagandha and bacopa, found in Thompson's Ashwagandha Complex Stress Plus Focus, may help the body adapt to stress. This herbal supplement, based on traditional Ayurvedic medicine, may help calm the nerves and improve memory and cognition. Sleeplessness, or the inability to drift off into a good night's sleep, could also be impacted as a result of ongoing stress. There's also Thompson's Ashwagandha Complex Stress Plus Sleep. Based on traditional Western herbal medicine, it combines ashwagandha with passion flower and lavender oil, which may help the body adapt to stress and induce sleep. Life is full of complex relationships, careers, and all kinds of unexpected stresses, but we can turn to nature for additional support so we can continue on as our very best selves.
Joe, the countdown is on to the FIFA Women's World Cup here in Australia. Less than 2 weeks to go.
It's so exciting. Of course, Australia is co-hosting the event, and Matilda's captain, Sam Kerr, is helping really amp up the excitement. She is everywhere at the moment.
Well, in my mind, she's on track to become one of Australia's greatest ever athletes.
On track? Surely she's already there.
Well, she's got more to play out, Joe. So I think she's an absolute superstar. I'm the biggest fan of all time of Sam Kerr. And recently, she was named the UK Footballer of the Year again. First time ever a player has won that award back-to-back, and that's on the back of her guiding Chelsea to the FA Cup final win again, the 4th straight title for Chelsea. She's just a superstar.
Yes, Darcy, she's also the global cover star of the hit game FIFA 2023. It is the first time a female player has been featured on the cover in FIFA's 20-year history. So no wonder all around the country, girls are taking up the sport just to be like Sam.
Everyone wants to be like Sam Kerr. And the FIFA Women's World Cup, Joe, is literally one of the biggest events that's ever been held in Australia. It is massive. And we're talking spirituality a lot today on the House of Wellness. And sport, to me, has always been a spiritual thing. So I love the community aspect, bringing people together. Sport is like a religion in this country.
Which is why this month's Lift Out is celebrating women in sport. Make sure you check it out.
Thanks, as always, to our great friends at Chemist Warehouse. We'll see you next time.